Hello, Dallas. It's time to wake up and get wealthy. I'm Terry Aarons, Group Fitness and Wellness Director with the Aaron Family JCC, and we are here today to discuss how to be calm. Calm is the new buzzword, and I am here with an expert yoga therapist, Beth Belk.
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks
you for
so
allowing
much.
me to
Thanks
be
for
here
coming
today.
Yes, yes. So we are going to talk about calm, and also just so you viewers at home know that last week of March, we will be here at the JCC offering a Wealth Week, which the theme this year is calmness, how to de-stress. So we have lots of goodies in store that last week of March, but we are here today just to kind of kick it off a little bit. And I brought in an expert. We are just going to talk about how to stay calm in like several different scenarios. But I think first we got to take a deeper dive, Beth. And if you could just tell me, I know it's the new buzzword, but if you could just tell me, when we think of the word calm, what does that mean?
Well, that's a great question. And I think the answer is really it's subjective. Each person has a different description or feeling of what calm means to them. For me, calm means the body feels relaxed, the mind is at ease, and my heart feels at peace.
So that's for you, but what would be like the textbook clinical,
right,
as far as when we think of calm?
Physiologically, when someone is in a state of calm, that means that their nervous system is activated with the rest and digest or parasympathetic nervous system.
Okay. Yes.
So that means the heart rate is down, breathing rate is down, blood pressure is down, and you're more in a state of balance versus like an anxious or stressed out state.
Okay, so for like a lot of people then, you're just driving in your car and then you're headed to, let's say, the dentist, and you're calm, but then as you sit down in the chair, they take your blood pressure. And I'm like, I think that's not working right.
Right.
Because I have this very low resting heart rate and like, there's no way. So I always tell them that their machine isn't working. But I guess that's a state of not being calm.
Right. And it's important to recognize when we are starting to feel that uneasy sense or anxious feeling. And one thing that I think is really easy and simple is to just breathe, practice some deep breathing. That immediately activates the relaxation response.
Okay, so in regards to calm and the technical textbook description that you shared with us, does it also fall into mental health as well? Is calmness and mental health, are they in two separate directions or do they kind of merge together?
I think they go hand in hand. Oftentimes when we're feeling stressed or anxious, our brain is working in from the emotional center, the limbic system of the brain. And that leads to oftentimes anxiety and depression. But when we're able to find ourselves in those situations, go inward, practice our mind-body practices, get us into a state of calm, that helps us to be able to get our frontal lobes back online so that we're able to think more rationally and clearly and be able to respond rather than just react to situations.
So when you're talking about mindful practices, maybe you could kind of give us a few examples of just some simple mindful practices in case our viewers aren't sure what, because that's a big catch-all word too. Mindfulness.
Right.
I know that's another buzz.
Definitely.
Along with calm, but maybe you can we can dig a little deeper there.
We are hearing a lot more about mindfulness these days. Mindfulness simply means mind-centered focused. And that is awareness and observation using some kind of anchor. It could be breathing, movement, focusing on an object, a mantra, which is repeating a saying over and over again. But we do that from an open mind, a non-judgmental approach, and an open heart. And the purpose is to get ourselves in the present moment. Because when we are in the present moment, that helps our bodies to just settle, as well as our mind and our heart.
Yeah, so I love what you just said about mantras, because I kind of walk the talk there in reference to mantras. when I'm ready to do like a big, large fitness conference and I'm the presenter, I have to get into that mindset. So for me, I do have a couple mantras that are always my go-to in order to get my brain and me ready to do that presentation to a large audience. So
awesome.
I totally get that.
Yes.
Yeah. And it really does work. So mantras are good.
And your brain believes what you tell it. So it is a good habit to get into those positive, sayings.
Yes. Like when I think of some of the motivational coaches out there, one that comes to mind right away that has some amazing mantras is Coach Prime, Coach Deion Sanders with the Colorado Buffaloes. He just has some amazing mantras that he uses to get his team ready for game day. Definitely.
Very motivational.
Yes, yes, yes. Anything else that you can share with us as far as mantras and mindset and just understanding being calm?
I think the most important thing is awareness and tuning in. When you get in the habit of simply grounding yourself in the present moment, you become so in tune with how it is that you're feeling. And once you have that awareness, then you can start intervening with appropriate practices.
Okay. So grounding yourself in the present moment. Okay, so one word there, in the present moment. How do I know if I'm in the present moment?
Well, that's a great question. Oftentimes we get so wrapped up, our brain is going so quickly, we're either ruminating on the past, focusing too much on the past, or we're worrying too much about the future, that it's often difficult to be aware of the present moment. Okay. So again, when you recognize that your mind is kind of going every which way instead of being in the here and now, that is awareness, I think, is the key.
Okay, great. I love that, Beth. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Welcome back. And Beth and I are here to now discuss, I think I'm just going to, we can tag this as best 5 big ones, 5 practices on when stress hits. Give us your 5 best.
Okay. Well, first of all, we mentioned the importance of grounding. So just freezing in the moment, finding your place, feeling the support underneath your feet and your sits bones, that immediately calms the nervous system. So grounding is number 1. The second one I would say is breathing, specifically deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. So breathing in, feeling your heart and belly expand, and then breathing out, they release.
No chest breathing.
No short, shallow breathing, because that has a tendency to contribute to the stress response. But as soon as you practice deep diaphragmatic breathing, that immediately activates the relaxation response.
Can you share that tip? Can you do a real fast tip for us on how to execute that?
Sure. Well, one of the ways is using your hands on your heart and your belly. Okay. And that way you have something that you are feeling as you breathe in. You feel your hands rise with the in-breath. And then as you breathe out, they release with the out-breath.
Everybody at home, try this. Ready? Take us through it, Beth.
Breathe in through your nose and then out through your nose. Again, breathe in and breathe out. So tuning into your breath is first and foremost. Just having that breath awareness is very important.
Okay, so I think you have 3 more.
So the third one I would say is get out and move. Exercise.
I love that. That's truly to my ears.
It truly is the best medicine. When we exercise, our body releases feel-good hormones, serotonin, endorphins, and dopamine, which we all want. And then
the natural high.
The natural high, yes, the natural feel-goods. Also getting out in nature. So when we get out in nature, our body also releases feel-good hormones such as serotonin and endorphins. And research shows it lowers cortisol, which is the stress hormone.
Okay, so getting out as far as activity, doing activity and getting out, is that 3 and 4, or is that still number 3? It's
all in one. So just getting out in nature.
Okay.
So is the fourth one. Specifically when you are outdoors, tuning into your senses and not just getting from A to B, but really using your sight, what it is that you're seeing, your hearing, what it is that you hear around you, what you're feeling, the temperature of the air, the wind,
the birds
chirping, the sense of the ground beneath you. So using your senses is also another really good way to calm the nervous system.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we did several years ago a class here that was all about the sensory, and it was blindfold yoga.
Interesting, yeah.
And just entrusting yourself and using all your senses but sight. And it was really an interesting journey.
That is awesome. And that leads me into the fifth best practice, which is mindfulness. That mind-centered focus that we mentioned earlier as a way to tune into the present moment.
Okay, well, great. That was awesome, Beth. Thank you so much for your 5 big tips on how to stay calm. Hey, welcome back. And we are here now to discuss just some everyday scenarios for everyday people and tips on how to stay calm. And so I'm going to provide Beth with a few just life scenarios, and she's going to tell us, in case that ever is something that you would encounter, she's going to give you some tips on how to diffuse it and stay calm. So here we go. Are you ready, Beth?
I'm ready.
I think this is going to be so fun. Okay, so the first one, I have a busy day ahead of me, and I am already out of the start gate feeling defeated. I haven't even had my first cup of coffee. And how can I counter this?
Well, that's oftentimes the case, especially with busy working folks. So a good habit is the night before, write your to-do list. And that way you can get up in the morning, you can know what is the highest priority and just tackle it. So time management, prioritization is really important. Perhaps getting organized the night ahead, making your lunch, making sure you have enough water for the day, just
hydration.
Hydration, simple things to serve yourself as you're executing your busy day.
I love that. I love that. So sometimes instead of the night before, I actually, in the shower, I have to have a shower. That is my cup of coffee. So in the shower is when I organize exactly my to-do list. So will that work too, or do I need to do it the night before?
That's perfect.
Because then I'm sleeping on it. And is there a difference?
That's a great question. People are different. So it's really important to just do what works best for you.
I love it.
That's going to increase adherence to your plan of action.
Okay.
So.
All right. Number 2, feeling edgy, butterflies before a big presentation. As a national presenter out there, I get these butterflies before. Are butterflies good?
I think butterflies are certainly good. They're, that gives you a little bit of adrenaline. And deep breathing is a good way to breathe. If you're one of those people like myself that I need to write out my notes, but also being transparent with your audience and letting them know, hey, I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. People appreciate that vulnerability and that transparency because it's relatable.
Oh, I love that. It's relatable. That makes such perfect sense. I am definitely going to run to the bank on that one on my next presentation. Thank you.
Of course.
All right, let's do another one. Planning to have a tough conversation with a friend or a family member, and I'm so afraid of it going sideways. How can I organize in advance?
That's a tough one, especially for someone who's non-confrontational. My rule of thumb is direct and honesty while being diplomatic and also being prepared. So if it helps to maybe discuss it with a friend ahead of time, maybe do some role playing or even write it down.
I love that, role playing. That sounds like that's a really great suggestion. Yeah. All right, you ready for another one?
I'm ready.
Okay. This one really isn't me, but I'm sure we have some viewers. Kind of shy and need to attend a function in amongst a big crowd. What do you do for that person that's more of like an introvert?
Yes. So I understand this because I feel the same way. I am outgoing, but with people that I know. If I have to go to a function with a bunch of people I don't know, I get introverted and shy, and it can be somewhat uncomfortable. But I think it's really great when you have a sense of yourself, knowing that what it is that's going to be uncomfortable. So allowing yourself the opportunity to maybe step out of your comfort zone, attend the function, but leave if it's too overwhelming, or even giving yourself a time frame so that you know, hey, I only have to be there for 30 minutes or an hour, make my appearance, and then I can head out.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense for somebody that is more of an introvert.
Definitely.
They really don't probably want to be there anyway. So, a shorter time allotted is probably perfect for that person. All right. So this one probably hits home to a lot of people. A breaking news story or a social media post, and it kind of pulls you off your focus. How should we regroup to maintain and get back in focus?
Well, this is certainly the reality these days. There's a lot of turmoil, both locally and globally. And if you notice that you are feeling triggered when you're watching the news, perhaps it would be a good idea to limit your, the amount of time that you're consuming with media, whether it's on TV or the computer or social media. And remembering also that you can only control what is within your control, right? That's what you need to worry about. And there's so many things that are beyond our control, and it's just important to focus your energy on what it is that
you can control.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really good advice, Beth.
Yeah,
thank you.
Of course.
All right, couple more. Super busy at work. This is totally me. Super busy with a project at work, and my dog, my husband, my mom, everybody needs my attention. How can I just feel like I'm being pulled in a million directions? How can I remedy that?
What I often recommend for caregivers, whatever the case is, whether you're a parent, a spouse, a dog mom, taking care of your parents, it's very important to make yourself a priority, because the reality is that if you're not well, if you're not healthy, how are you going to take care of these other people who are relying on you? So first and foremost, give yourself permission to take care of yourself and make that self-care the utmost priority. Filling your cup first before you can go serve others.
Oh, that's so awesome. And I'm definitely going to make sure that after I leave work today, I go get a pedicure or something, do something for me.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
I think that permission factor is the key.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause usually you just don't have time, put it off, that kind of thing. So that makes really perfect sense. I got one more. Let's say we just finished a great game of pickleball. It was a fun night with friends, and or maybe it's at work and you just landed a new promotion, or you just came off of a really good high, something that has put you at a very high success level, but you can't fall asleep at night because you're so pumped up about the day and what just happened and your accomplishments. How do you regroup so that you can have a good night's sleep, so that you can kind of do the same thing the next day and hit that high level again?
Well, even positive experiences in life can cause the stress response. This is called eustress. And so, this happens, and it's important to recognize and practice gratitude. So being so grateful and thankful for those situations that happen, but also one thing that is helpful for me before I go to bed is to listen to some calm music or even read. That helps to settle my mind.
But not on your phone.
Not on the phone. Minimizing your technology time in the evening, but also having a consistent bedtime routine, good sleep hygiene. That way it signals your mind and your body that it's time to go to bed.
Okay. And is it good to do this sort of like in a where you go to bed at the same time? I mean, that you're pretty much structured.
Definitely.
Because your body clock then is more on a course, I guess.
Absolutely. I think that consistency is key. You know, when you do the same routine every night, is basically a signal to your body, hey, it's bedtime. It's time for us to shut down.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I can see though how for many, like your brain sometimes doesn't shut off. Is there anything else we can do to calm the brain? I mean, would it be the breathing?
The breathing is great. Body scanning is also good, where you're visualizing, starting at your toes and just feeling relaxation as you're visualizing the different parts of the body all the way up to the top of the head, down the arms, out the fingers.
Mm-hmm.
I do this sometimes 3 or 4 times just to settle my mind. But also guided meditation is helpful for a lot of people. So finding apps to, you know, on Spotify or Apple Music or on your phone to help you.
And sound.
And sound is 432 hertz is a great tone to listen to, or classical music is very soothing.
Okay. Well, great. This has been great, Beth. You were just such a wealth source of information when it comes to calm. And so I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your wealth of knowledge with us today.
I appreciate the opportunity for allowing me to share with you.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
And for you guys at home, remember, when you get up, wake up, get wealthy, get healthy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.